You're not going to believe what Donald Trump just forced CNN to do. And they didn't like 1 second of it. You can see it on their face. But first, I'm going to show y'all this clip of this leftist going insane. We're also going to be talking about tariffs. Stay tuned. Wow.
I airbrushed it, I designed it, I do my own makeup, everything.
I have no words. This is absolutely, you're so very talented.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of wasted talent, I'll tell you that. What? We just gonna move on, okay? Legend has it, she's still being fact-checked.
Think Trump is making America great or worse?
Worse.
What specifically is making America worse?
I think every day, I'm not going to get into specifics.
Shouldn't it be easy to just name one thing if there's a lot, especially on a daily basis?
I wouldn't have to be you wouldn't be asking me if it was easy, honestly.
The deflection is just it's letting me know you don't even know why. You just media brainwashed talking point in life form.
What is
Something right now.
So what is just one example on top of your head?
Reproductive justice, environmental justice. People.
What? Environmental justice? Yep.
Reproductive justice, environmental justice. People being able to feed their kids.
That's a big one. Would you agree that if Americans had more money in their pockets, they could achieve certain stuff like that?
Absolutely.
I agree.
So you're in favor of tax cuts for the middle class, low income class, various stuff like that, right?
Absolutely, that makes sense.
You know that in 2018 he passed those tax cuts that helped the middle class?
That's not true.
Why do you say that it's not true? Yeah.
Statistics.
What statistics?
In 2017, actually. How can I even explain this?
Because we can look at IRS data and we can see that the middle class benefited the most from Trump's tax cuts in 2018.
Well, you seem to have all the facts then.
Yeah, well, what we're doing is just we're informing people on campus, right? People have a lot of...
And that's the thing. Like, when somebody presents you with actual information, instead of you just, okay, well, can we look this up real quick, or can we verify this? You so entitled, you tell him that's not true without knowing if it's actually true or not. That doesn't...
How can I even explain this?
Because we can look at IRS data and we can see that the middle class benefited the most from Trump's tax cuts in 2018.
Well, you seem to have all the facts then.
Yeah, well, what we're doing is just we're informing people on campus, right? People have a lot of narratives, and those narratives could be not true.
As someone who's worked in Georgia politics in and out for the last, I would say, 10 years,
You should know how to answer these questions then.
I can say that I've seen the impact on Donald Trump's, or the impact on our community from Donald Trump's policies, several of them.
Like?
What is a specific example of one of those
Well, I tried to
things?
tell you several times, and you keep cutting me off.
Sure.
So what I will say is that, since you've asked my opinion, I do not think that Donald Trump is helping our country. And I'm going to go to work now.
Literally got nowhere with that. Why is it so offensive to just, hey, that's actually not true if you go to the IRS website? You cite the source. You tell them where to get the information from and everything. Hey, you go over here. Oh, that's not true. Hey, shorty, you ain't even looked up nothing. I think, again, it goes back to what I was telling y'all about in previous videos. We weren't raised and taught how to apologize properly. We associated failure with like, how do I say, just sad, or like emotions like sad and fear and stuff like that. But really, man, it's an opportunity for you to learn. I never forget I heard the quote, don't be a know-it-all, be a learn-it-all. And that's something that stuck with me. But somebody says my daughter's working part-time while attending school full-time. Saw her refund go from $900 in 2017 to $1,800 in 2018. If she worked in politics for 10 years, it should be very easy for her to throw out some facts. I suspect her facts aren't actually all, they aren't facts at all. They actually just feelings.
I think Trump is making...
Yeah, I agree with that, man. A lot of this is just feels. Now, Chris Cuomo just admitted that the media can't destroy Trump because they destroyed themselves in the process.
Peeves about the left that I would say they like to do is judge you by your worst moment.
Yes.
And sometimes
that's why MAGA is immune, because they can only do it to their own. Donald Trump is truly the Teflon Don. The media cannot take him down.
No.
Because his people reject the basis of the criticism. There's an old expression.
It's not that we reject bases, we reject literal lies. It's not like I reject the idea that he did this. No. Did he do that? Hold on, let me look at the facts of the matter.
You know, that if you have to decide whether or not to care about what someone says about you, the way you start is, well, who said it? What do I think of them? And people have made that assessment about the media. And they've said, you know what? I don't care what you say about him, because I think that you allow a lot worse. And I think you're kind of what you say he is. And that's why they're not going to get Hegseth out.
No.
But they would be if it were the Biden administration. They can cancel all day on the left. They cannot take out members of MAGA. Trump would have to go bad on the guy. It would probably have to be a federal case to make him even think about it. And there is a power in that for him.
One of my pet peeves about the left.
Now, I don't 100% disagree with some of the stuff that he said, but I don't 100% agree with some, how he chose to. Anywho, I would say he's spot on, though, in terms of the overall point about the left spent so much time trying to take Donald Trump down that they literally destroyed themselves in the process. And honestly, we couldn't be more grateful for it. Y'all just did it to yourself one moment after another, twerking at this rally. Jesus ain't king at that rally. But y'all better quit playing now. Y'all play with God. Thomas Paine added, this paid propagandist pointing the finger at his fellow propagandist is hilarious. He is correct, but he is talking about himself as well. Yeah. And the Vigilant Fox reply, how the tables have turned, man. They got flipped over, okay? Now, just to prove Chris Cuomo's point real quick.
You know what's funny is I don't fucking care what you think about Trump. I don't. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter you call him a 34-time felon or an insurrectionist or a bad businessman or misogynistic or racist. Or he cheated on his wife. None of these things matter. It didn't resonate. But the problem is you're still talking about it, and you hate this man so much because you believed all the gullible bullshit that they told you that you keep doubling down because you can't imagine that you were wrong, that now all of a sudden you no longer stand for things that you used to stand for. You bought into Russia collusion. He didn't pay his taxes, quid pro quo, very fine people, bloodbath. The list goes on and on and on and on. Now all of a sudden, securing our borders and getting rid of violent offenders is a bad thing. No longer good for Americans or American people. You now think that getting rid of waste and corruption and mismanagement and misspending of money in the government, which you have screamed for decades, is no longer a good thing because Trump's doing it and using Doge, which was something started under Obama, just renamed. You no longer think it's a good thing to end the war between Russia and Ukraine or Israel and Palestine. You think the war should go on and peace is a bad thing because Donald Trump is the one bringing it to you. You are no longer objective because you're so filled with hate. You've adopted extremist ideologies and beliefs. You think violent damage and destruction of property is the proper way to protest. You think calling for the unaliving of a president of the United States is somehow now socially acceptable.
Seriously.
You think going after and attacking people with different viewpoints or cutting them out of your lives is somehow socially acceptable today. You guys have lost your ever fucking mind, and you think I fucking care what you think? Because I don't.
Man, my God. Amen to that. Amen to that. You hit it right on the nail of what Chris Cuomo was saying. Like, how can we care about what you think when you've displayed your shit ignorance on multiple occasions? I'm sorry, y'all, having some hardware gear malfunctions right now. Got to get this together. But, yeah, we seen y'all true colors. We watch how y'all act in these different arenas and lack of common sense. Why would we, for a second, take what you guys say and hold it to any high regard? Just make it make sense to me. That's all I'm saying. Make it make sense to us. That's all we saying. But anytime you ask them to make it make sense. Now, I told y'all, Trump forced CNN to do something that they don't like to do, which is report the truth.
More breaking news now. The March jobs report just released moments ago, telling us that the U.S. economy added a stronger than expected 228,000 jobs last month, and as the unemployment rate changed only slightly, now at 4.2%. Matt Egan, back with us. Okay, what does this mean?
Well, Kate, this is good news because it shows that the jobs market was in good shape in March. I think the bad news is there are growing fears that
this was March.
That this was March and that this unfortunately may not last because of the trade war. Let me run you through the numbers. 228,000 jobs added in March. Now, this was stronger than expected. This really blew away forecasts for around 130,000. Also, this represents an acceleration from January and from February, both of which were revised lower. The unemployment rate, it did tick higher to 4.2%. That was expected. When we dig into some of the sectors here, the one that everyone's paying a lot of attention to right now is the federal government. This report showed that federal government employment did fall by 4,000 in March. That follows a 10,000 drop in February.
Did you see what's going on with Doge? Of course.
But we're likely just starting to see this in drips and drabs because a lot of people who were laid off, they're not yet collecting unemployment. So those numbers are likely to go even higher. Also, just one other point here on the cost of living. Wages were up again by a solid amount. It cooled a little bit, but wages were up by 3.8% year over year. That is well ahead of the most recent rate of inflation, which you can see was just below 3%. So that means paychecks are beating prices. But listen, the bottom line here is, yes, the jobs market looked pretty solid in March, but now the question is, can it make it through this test of the trade war, right? I mean, this jobs market has proven to be so resilient.
It's almost like
This trade wars was helping right now. He got so many people, so many different countries trying to call and negotiate. You see this, though? They just hate the fact that this man is out here doing what he said he was going to do. Over 228,000 jobs. And I do believe that federal employment and any federal stats should be separate from American stats, man. You shouldn't add that in the total. You know what I mean? Somebody even wrote down here, government jobs and spending should be reported separately, in my opinion. Americans have a right to know how their federal government is ballooning. Yeah, man, for sure. But these tariffs, are they helping? Are they hurting? We're going to dive into that in just a second. But Stephen A. Smith has a message for the Democrats.
I'm going to say something that isn't popular to say, but you know something, the Democrats need to hear this. Y'all are very, very fond of talking about how Donald Trump lies. Some of the things that have made people uncomfortable about Donald Trump, I got news for you. He hasn't lied. Didn't he say tariffs was what he was going to live by? Did he not say that he was going to close those damn borders? I believe he said that. Did he not say that he was going to address crime in our streets and things were going to get very, very bad for lawless individuals out there? Did he not provide indications that he could give a damn about the civil rights and the human rights of individuals that were considered lawless? Did he not say, or at least indicate, that come hella high water, the culture that we were living in, we were going to dial that back? Did he not talk about the LGBTQ plus community, specifically as it pertains to transgenders and athletes not being allowed to transition from male to female and be able to compete in women's sports? Did he not say these things? Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. It's surprising to me. No, I'm sorry. I don't know why I just lied like that. I'm not surprised by how surprised the left is acting about all of this. Like, it's documented. I mean, but these are the same people who say that they didn't say something and it's literally on 4K on camera. We got people, these Democrats have been caught multiple ways.
I'm going to say something.
Oh, hold on. You just said it. Without listening to the rest, I bet the next word is a huge but. Somebody said he will still vote for them, so why should they listen? I feel like Stephen A. Smith is smarter than in terms of his political judgments than he's displaying. I think it's got to. I don't know. I don't want to conclude it to be about no money, but the left is even complaining about this man playing golf.
I mean, not at all. I mean, presidents play golf. Joe Biden played golf. Joe Biden spent most of his term on vacation. I mean, no. I mean, this is a common parlor game that's played. I don't think it makes a difference to anybody. I do find it interesting in this conversation, though, about Democrats finding their, free market bona fides all of a sudden. I mean, these are the same party that's been arguing that corporations need to pay higher taxes. I mean, effectively, a tariff is just a tax on corporate activity. That's what it is. And Democrats for years have argued for higher corporate tax rates, and now they're arguing against effectively a tax on corporate activity. I think if I were Donald Trump, I might next week say, you know what? I'll meet you on this. Let's slash the corporate tax rate in half, and it'll mitigate your concerns about the tariffs. I bet you wouldn't find one Democrat who would agree to it, even though it would be an amazing idea. I mean,
yeah, man, I appreciate Scott how he exposes the left hypocrisy, because this is something that we know that they've advocated for. We have Bernie Sanders documented. We have was it AOC? Yeah, we got Bernie Sanders, Nancy Pelosi, you got Obama, you got all of these prominent figures on the left in favor of, what Donald Trump is doing in terms of tariffs and all that. And yeah, man, I don't get how we would want to sit here and allow other countries to rip us off. And on top of that, Donald Trump is looking out for the better interests of the American workers. I mean, because this employs more jobs. You know what I mean? Of course, sure, things might get a little more expensive. I get it, locally, just for a little while. But at the same time, bro, you know how much more money you putting into the country? You putting back into America? Listen, the Democrats are enraged by the tariffs precisely because they understand Trump's goals. They know that they long ago lost the guts to fight for the American working class. Now, they fight for Wall Street, which thinks it should control the agenda because for so long it has.
The reason the Democrats are so flummoxed is not because they don't understand why President Trump put these tariffs on. It's because they 100% understand why he put the tariffs on. They just cannot imagine having this kind of courage and a heart for the American working class in the way that the president does. There's one other group that's feeling as angry as the Democrats are, and it's Wall Street. Because Wall Street, of course, is now a Democrat backer.
Yes.
The rage that you see on Wall Street, what they are trying to do here is they are shorting the president's agenda, because Wall Street thinks, after 60 years of being utterly catered to, that they control this country and that they should control the president and all of our elected officials. And of course, they think that because that has been the case for so long. The reason the Democrats...
Oh, wow, that sucks. They cut it off right there. Yeah, that has been the case for so long. That's part of the reason why I think that they assume that these temper tantrums are okay. Somebody says the Republican Party under Trump is the Democratic Party from decades ago plus success. I mean, the Democrat Party, maybe at a certain point, but, we know how the Democrat Party was derived and, what they was fighting against and why the Republican Party. I'm just saying. Let's move forward. Right here. Remember I just told y'all? He got Trump, that is, got these other countries like, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and negotiate.
I got a report from the USTR last night that more than 50 countries have reached out to the president to begin a negotiation. But they're doing that because they understand that they bear a lot of the tariff. And so I don't think that you're going to see a big effect on the consumer in the U.S. because I do think that the reason why we have a persistent long-run trade deficit is these people have very inelastic supply. They've been dumping goods into the country in order to create jobs, say, in China. I got a report.
Man, say what you want about Donald Trump. You have to give him credit for his fight for the American people. Seriously. I'm not going to sit here and act like I cared about politics prior to maybe 2.5 years ago, but seriously, this guy is the only one that I've seen in real time be able to take the concerns of the American people and or at least make the efforts tangible. Whereas I hear a lot on the Democrat side, is always more we're gonna do. Now don't get it twisted now. I'm gonna keep it real. I ain't so satisfied with paying Bondi right now. It's a whole lot of I'm a. I mean, we got some Tesla protesters, but we need. Yeah, I'll go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. And I'm going to say that I really appreciate each and every last one of y'all for the donations. Help keeping the channel afloat. Y'all know bringing the truth is definitely with great risk. However, I'm more than eager, more than happy to do this every single day. Yeah, I can't wait to bring y'all another story tomorrow. Please, call that friend, man, that you ain't talked to in a while. Nope, I don't want to hear, but she ain't called me back first. Sometimes you doing it to yourself. I teach my kids, you choose your happiness. You literally, I'm bored. You can choose not to be bored. I mean, it ain't always as easy as I said it, and as practical as that in most cases, but it's still true. Go check on that friend, man. Checking on them might be what you needed for yourself. I'm telling you. Catch y'all in the next video, man. Peace.